Away from that, the West African Examinations Council, WAEC, says more than 570,000 candidates are sitting for this year's Basic Education Certificate Examinations, BECE. About 287,000 are males, whilst some 284 are females. The number of participating schools, according to WAEC, stands at 18,028. Director of Public Affairs at WAEC, Agnes Kujo, says the council has put in place measures to check cheating and leakage of exam papers. She spoke to Kujiyang Singh on the Super Morning Show.
A few things differently to ensure that we safeguard the integrity of the examination. As the exam progresses, I'm sure you will get to know, and we'll also let members of the public know after the end of the exam what we have done. We have also invited the National Intelligence Bureau to help us to monitor the examination, because we don't want any disturbances or any persons to try and then go to the conduct of the exam in any way. So these are some of the arrangements that we have done.
And the voice you heard was that of Agnes Kujo. She speaks for the West Africa Examination Council. Joining us live is my colleague, Papa Niashali, who is with the WAEC team inspecting some of their, the centers where the exams is taking place. Papa Ni, what have you observed? Where have you been? Papani, there's a difficulty hearing what Papani Ashali is saying now. We're just going to work on that sound and bring you. He's been going around with some officials of the West Africa Examination Council who are inspecting some of their centers as the Basic Education Certificate Examination begins today. Let's go back to Papani.
Hello. We are live here at the Accra Girls Senior Secondary School, where hundreds of students are also sitting for the examination. This morning, we've been touring some of the centers within the Ayawaso North Municipality. We've been going around with folks from the West African Examination Council, WAEC, and the Education Directorate with the municipality as well. A lot has been coming through, but it is important to note that this is the first ever exams to come when GES decided to change the three-term system, which is the trimester system, to the semester system as we have it now. So now we are going to, the students are having to go to school just twice in an academic year. The first paper for the morning just ended here at the Accra Girls School after some delays. The paper was scheduled to start at 9 a.m. However, they started somewhere close to 10 a.m. Let me speak to some of the students who have taken part of the first paper for the day, and they are from Queen's Royal School. Your name?
Raudanun Saeed Abdullah.
Wonderful. Great. So how did the first paper go for you? That was social studies, right?
Yeah. The first paper was, although tough, but we were able to go through it, and we know that by the grace of God we will pass it well.
By the grace of God we will pass it well. But in terms of the questions, was it hard or difficult?
It wasn't that hard because we learned it at school. We learned most of the questions at school, so we were able to write it and give good explanations to it. So we hope we pass.
Great. What's your name?
Gideon Tay.
How did the paper go for you? Hard or difficult?
It was tough, but in everything we give thanks to God.
You give thanks to God. So are you happy after writing the social studies?
Yeah. So
you're expecting an A?
Yeah, very. I'm expecting an A.
Wonderful. So you can hear from some of the students. Now, finally, though, this is the first time as well that we are writing social studies rather than English on a Monday. Did it disturb you in any way?
Yeah. When I heard that we are writing social studies, I was a little scared a bit because I was used to writing English. In all the examination, we were using the BECE old timetable, so we were writing English. When I heard social, I was a bit scared, and I said that, okay, every subject is equal. We can learn with every subject with the application of knowledge. So I said social too can be very easy though, so I must learn it. So I studied hard. So I'm now a little okay.
Wonderful. What about you? Hearing social studies first, did it change anything for you at all?
No, I was not surprised.
Wow. It didn't change anything for you. Did you think that starting off on a good note will mean anything for you in the entire exams?
Oh yeah. If we start with a good practice or with a good something in the exams, you can apply all that you've learned to it. So, which means if you study hard, you gain from it. That's why. So we studied hard and we wrote the exams.
Wonderful. What about you?
Same.
We're expecting same from you. Thank you very much for talking to us. So, Mama V, you just heard from some of the students who just left the examination center at the Accra Girls Secondary School after going through the first paper for the month, which is social studies, paper 1 and 2. They tell us that they are in high hopes that it's going to go. I have one of the teachers who accompanied some of the students to the center. Let me as well ask him, because this year, very first time that you are seeing a difference, a change in the timetable. Usually you see English paper start first. Your name and the school that you are with?
I'm Jonathan Achigani, and I'm an ICT teacher and the headmaster at the same time from Queen's Royal School.
Wonderful. So I've spoken to some of your students. As a teacher, what are your expectations for these exams?
In fact, I expect them to do well for certain reasons. If you look at the timetable this time, they made it such that you don't have 2 core subjects being written on the same day. It's a core subject and an elective subject, so we expect them to do well. Moreover, for the first time, we are writing under the semester. Previously, we had the term base, and this time we are using the semester. And because of the semester, we stayed in school for long this time. And I expect the children to do well.
Wonderful. So, as a teacher, you are expecting that the children are going to do well. But beyond that, the conversation in the country has always been about exam leakage and exam malpractices. How do you see some of these things?
I don't condone it, because I believe that the children should all have right on the fair ground, equal grounds. I don't believe that some should have an apple to write or whatever, and others will not have. So this time, I'm sure it's going to be fair, because so far I've not heard any apple issue coming up, and they are going to write with their own ability, and I expect them to do well this time.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. So that is Jonathan, one of the many teachers here at the school who are waiting for their students to finish the paper. This is just the first paper, social studies. The second paper for the day is going to be French. We have to write some words, the essay part first, and then the objectives part second for the day. I mentioned that some things have changed this year. First was the change in the timetable. Secondly, because of COVID-19, we also see that some health personnel have also been dispatched in addition to the entire team that caters for the examination. So at Accra High, for instance, there was a health personnel on site to make sure that in the event that unforeseen things happened, the person is going to be on alert to do with some of these things. Again, they were taking the temperature of the students who had come to that particular center. Final change here will be that some of the students, before we know that they used to run into the following week, but this time the exams will end on Friday. So hopefully by Friday we can know from the students how the entire exams went. So Mama V, this is what has been happening here at the Accra Girls BECE School. Before I even forget though, we've also been going around with the directorate, the director for the education in the municipality, that's Ayawaso North. And she's been telling us that they've had some challenges in the past with some subjects, but this year they are dealing with it. One of the ways to deal with some of the things that have been happening is to dispatch monitors of a sort, monitoring personnel to be at every single center where the examination is being taken, so that they can make sure that the protocols that have been put on paper to guide the examinations, again, to check for some of the excesses like exam malpractice and leakages. They are on site making sure that all of these things are done.
And that's Papani Ashali. We thank you for that updates there, reporting from the Accra Girls School, which is a center where students are sitting for this year's basic education certificate examination. as he interacted with the student there. They've just finished with their social studies paper. They're getting ready. 1 p.m. they will sit for the French paper as well.